Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. My name's Amanda and I build in The Sims 4. Today we're going to be building some for rent apartments. So I absolutely love the for rent pack. I think it was a brilliant addition to The Sims. Before the pack launched, I used to always build my own apartments and things like that anyway, because I'm not much of a game player, so I didn't need them to be gameplay suitable. But it's now great that the for rent pack allows you to own and manage your own apartments and things like that. It's great for generational play as well. So for this video, I wanted to build the exterior of effectively 6 apartments. So it's a 2-story apartment block and it's got quite a modern vibe. I really loved the look of how this turned out. But then on the bottom floor, we've got 2 apartments, and then on the top floor, we've got 4 apartments. So there's quite a few. They are obviously only small, but that was kind of the vibe I wanted to go for. Now, I do have it so that we've got one apartment that's 2-bedroom, and I kind of envisioned that this would be for a single parent. And then the other apartment downstairs is a 1-bedroom. And then upstairs we have, I think we've got 2 more that are 1-bedrooms and then 2 that are studio apartments. I can't quite remember, but that's how I've noted it down. So I'm hoping that's right, but we'll see as we go throughout the video. So as you can see, the exteriors come along quite nicely. I really wanted this to have a modern, fresh look. And I actually envisioned this in the world of eco lifestyle. So I wanted to put it in the world for that. Again, the name of the world has, what's it called? Evergreen Harbour. That's it. So I envisioned placing these down in Evergreen Harbour, and I did open my game and originally start building them there, but I didn't like how the lighting looked for the lot. So I ended up switching to building in Newcrest. So this is the Cookout Lookout lot, but you could place these down on whichever lot of your choice. I've built these on a 30 by 20. Now, I loved how they looked, and I feel as though the style would fit in Evergreen Harbour. It's quite a modern, fresh look. However, it does work quite well for Newcrest, obviously, where it's effectively a blank world and you can kind of put your own style on it. But I don't feel as though it necessarily matches those builds that are in the background, which does annoy me a little bit for Newcrest. I wish we didn't have those kind of pre-made background builds because you can't do anything with them. But moving on, I really loved how the exterior of these turned out. I added on the solar panels and the fans because I thought as though this would, again, it was what I imagined for the Evergreen Harbour world. And then I also just felt as though for a modern looking apartment, it made sense that it's got those items there. And then I think they just added to the look of the build as well. I really wanted to add a little bit of colour, but I wanted to keep it quite fresh and neutral. So I just added on this blue siding at the top, and then we went with brick on the bottom, and then kept with wood on the top. And I wanted this to have as many windows as possible because I wanted these to look quite bright and airy from the inside. But where we are fitting in quite a few apartments, I wanted to make sure that they all had enough window space, if that makes sense. So I did the stairs for these on the exterior. So to access the top apartments, you've got stairs on either side, as both the buildings are effectively mirrored. I've kept them both quite similar. And then downstairs again, we've kept with as many windows. I'd say the downstairs lower front, I wish I could have positioned it to get a few more windows there, but it still worked when I was going through and doing the floor plan. But I had lots of fun building the exterior of these, just adding on lots of little, I didn't want to add personal touches to these. I wanted to keep it as though this is a new build. No one's living in it yet. So I didn't want to add too many personal touches, but I loved adding on all the exterior items for giving it that new build look. I did come around the sides and I've added these trash cans on both sides. So there's plenty of bin space for all 6 apartments. And then we're going to come in. Again, I wanted to keep it nice and light and airy, this really bright feel. So I come in with this stone flooring, and I kind of just left it here at the back because I weren't quite sure what I was going to do with the back, so I focused on the front for now. And then I did want to come in and do minimal landscaping again because I want that new build vibe. But whenever I do see new builds, I do feel as though they do go quite in and add a nice bit of landscaping because obviously it's all quite new and fresh, and usually the new builds near me, they will add quite small trees and bushes with the idea that they're going to grow as the years go on. So I kind of was going for that look. I put these little fences around the trees because again I felt it gave it quite a manicured look, which was something else I wanted for these. I didn't want these to look run down or grungy. I added these two little signs at the side, and I envisioned these were like signs saying that the properties are for rent. So I really loved how those looked, and I kind of imagined for gameplay as people move in you could delete those if you wanted to. Come around the back, and then I finished off the paving, and I decided to keep the back quite simple because I wanted it again to not feel too personalized. I didn't want also to add in too many items because there's not exactly a lot of space. I was going to kind of add on a communal garden, but I felt as though it just didn't really suit the look of these. And then after I started doing this part, I felt as though these would actually work quite nice in San Myshuno as well. So again, that's another place you could pop these down if you didn't want to place them down in Newcrest. I'm going to upload this build onto the gallery as it is. So if you want to design the apartments yourself, you can. So I'm just going to upload the shell, and then I'm going to go through and do separate videos for each of the apartments. So do look out for those if you're interested in seeing what the insides are going to turn out like. If you have any suggestions for any of the apartments, please do pop them in the comments below. I loved this lamppost as well that has the little signposts on it because I felt as though it just gave a really city vibe. I did come in and add a few lights here and there just so there's lighting. Obviously if you're going up to your front door and it's dark, you're going to want a little light, and I didn't feel as though these were too personal. I then did move on inside and start mapping out the floor plan. So obviously these are the upstairs anyway are quite small, but even downstairs they're not massive apartments, but I quite liked the size and how they turned out. So I went in and I've given them all a bathroom obviously, which is what we're adding here on the upstairs. And then I kind of just played around. So these front two apartments, they're the 1 bedrooms. So as you can see, they have only got 1 small bedroom. I placed down a double bed just to see how it would fit and if it was possible, but I probably would envision more single sims living in those anyway, but maybe someone who's upgraded from a studio apartment. So the back 2 apartments upstairs are just studios, so they don't have separate bedrooms. And then we come downstairs and I kind of lost my train of thought of where I was going with the floor plan, so I left it and I do come back to it, but I ended up just making one of them a 1 bedroom flat and then the other one a 2 bedroom flat, as I mentioned, because I kind of wanted to do at least one where there maybe is a single parent. So I just done a very small 2nd bedroom. Going back to the outside though, I'm coming in and just doing a little bit of terrain paint here because I kind of was having a bit of a mind blank of what else to add. So I thought, let me do my terrain paint. I then remembered, of course, to go into the for rent part of the catalogue and grab out some of these I think you need them for gameplay, things like the water heater and the electric box. Normally I would place these on the inside of a building, but because I didn't do an internal hallway, I've actually placed them on the outside, so I hope that's okay. But I just popped these down at the side, played around with some of the air conditioning units and things that we had there. And then that pretty much has brought all of the build together. So I thought I would quickly show you guys the exterior. So I was just kind of at this point checking and thinking, do you know what? I don't actually want to add anything more to it because I think it looks nice and clean, nice and simple, and it's got that new build look to it rather than a lived in look. I did then off camera go through and separate the units. So as you can see here, I kind of just sort of froze the screen to show you guys, but we've got the upstairs, the orange and the purple are the 2 studio flats, and then the green and the yellow are the 1 bedroom flats. They're on the smaller side. And then downstairs the pink is the 2 bedroom apartment, and then the blue is the 1 bedroom apartment. So I did go through and I've sectioned out all of the units. I know it used to be glitchy when you uploaded residential apartments to the gallery. I hope it's not like that anymore, as I have uploaded this to the gallery already, so it is available to download. And then I just went through so that I could remind myself which were studios and which were 1 bedrooms when it comes to doing the next part of the build. I've just gone through and added those little details in there. But of course you could change the floor plans around. You definitely could squeeze in an extra bedroom on the downstairs one on the other side if you wanted that to be a 2-bedroom as well. But this is the finished exterior. I really hope you all enjoyed watching it. If you did, please do give me a thumbs up and let me know in the comments below any family or room suggestions you have for the build. I'm really excited to start on the insides and getting the videos out for those. So thank you all once again for watching. If you're not already subscribed to my channel, I would absolutely love it if you hit that subscription button. I want to say a huge thank you for some of the love I got on my recent video. That was really, really appreciated. So yeah, I hope you all have a wonderful day. Take care. Lots of love. Bye bye.